Hi and welcome to Back to the Drawing Board with Soddy and Dan. My co-host Dan is joining us right now. How are you, Dan?
Good, mate. Good. I was
Uh,
good, and actually, I
good.
was good until we started this. But it's all good. Happy
It's
to
all
be here,
good. I'm
mate.
excited. I'm pumped. I hope you're pumped and ready to rock and roll up.
How can we not be after what's about to start?
Who knows what's going to happen now when you get a Macedonian and a Greek together? It's going to be a chess game, isn't it?
God.
So, guys, we've got a jam-packed little episode for you. So, in today's episode, we're going to be previewing the opening round of the EPL. The Premier League is back. The Prem is back, even though it's only been a few weeks.
What a huge break it's been.
Yeah, it's just funny how all sports are tied into one another. I know when we were planning this, we're like, what are we going to do? But I'm excited to actually go through with everybody our picks of the top four, who we think is going to be relegated, and we're also going to be previewing a few of the games, and we're going to be finishing off with what we think will be the moment of the round or what to look forward to. So to get started, Dan, who do you think is going to be in the top four, and who do you think is going to get relegated?
No, I can't give you a top four. I'll give you a top six. How's that?
Oh, okay, all right,
Top
okay,
six? Top
all
six?
right. You can go top
Yeah,
six. That's
yeah.
I can understand that. I've
It's my
respect.
inner Massa. I can't agree with absolutely everything you tell me to do. So, um, in terms of top six, starting from sixth.
Yep.
I've got a surprise packet in Everton
Ooh, the
sneaking into the top
Toffees.
six. Yeah,
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 they're my sixth pick. I think they're going to be that sort of X factor team. I know we were discussing this the other day. It's a team you probably don't want to play in the last few rounds
yeah.
if you need to win the title, and they could stuff you up. James
Well,
Rodriguez,
yeah.
Dushari, Allen, a brand new midfield for Everton to go with three young attackers. So yeah,
Not only that, they got a proven coach, Carlo Ancelotti. Now he came through halfway through last season, so he's got a full season with a squad that he wants, with
yeah,
probably a marquee signing that could have gotten a game in any other top team around the world. I don't know. They're going to be a danger side. I mean, they're gonna lose games that they probably should win, drop those points, but they're going to scare a few sides.
yeah. Well, they've got proven players. Joshari is a proven player. Play for Watford. He's a gun player. I know he
Yeah,
torched Liverpool towards the end of the season last year and played some really good games. In saying that, there, Allen and James Rodriguez will be interesting to see how they will sort of, I guess,
adapt
adapt to the
to
Premier
yeah,
League,
yeah,
especially Hummers, who's
yeah,
played in leagues where they're not as tough. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like that physicality, and he can I mean, yeah, he hasn't really done anything since the World Cup six
Well, it
years
could.
ago. So
This is the perfect opportunity. I mean, it could spark up his career, and he might,
yeah,
get another move to a bigger club again, or
yeah,
you never
I
know.
can
That could
see
be
why
it.
not.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, you got the Evertonians.
Evertonians coming in fifth. I've got the Spuds, the Tottenham Hotspurs. Now, to be honest, I think fifth would be a massive underachievement for a team like that. Really, really good team. Really good team. Pretty decent manager, although been a little bit shaky the last few seasons. His last
He's
season at
still hard
Chelsea and
broken
United.
since you know when he won the league with Chelsea the following year, he got sacked. And I
Yeah,
think he's been heartbroken ever since. I don't think he's had closure. It's kind of
yeah.
that bad it's kind of that the dream relationship. You like this girl, everything's going good, and then just before you're about to walk down the aisle, she makes a bust for it, man.
Yeah,
It got a bit shaky. A bit of insecurities came into play. Performance wasn't that good. And then she just made a bolt, and that's it. She's gone.
mate. Quick
That's what it felt
sharing.
like. And after that, you kind of had a few, and now you kind of went from upper echelons to you found your class maybe. And I think Tottenham, is perfect for Mourinho to make an actual stamp rather than bouncing around all the time. I think he likes winning in different leagues and so forth, but Spurs are a really good side. I mean, Vertonghen's gone and all that, but a bit older, those players. But Sanchez, Alderweireld is still there, signed a new contract. I don't know if you've watched the new doco with what's it called? The new Tottenham documentary on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. But yeah, I've got Tottenham in fifth. But I don't know. Like, you never know with Mourinho. He always performs in the second sort of.
Don't rule out another signing for Tottenham. Gareth Bale coming back
That's a
to
possibility.
him. I mean, when you look at Jose Mourinho, I mean, he likes to bring cult figures back into the clubs when he goes back into a club. Now, at Chelsea, when he did that, he brought back Drogba in his second stint, just to get the fans excited. Exactly. He did the same thing as well. Who did he do with? Oh yeah, you already mentioned that. Yeah, Ibrahimovic for that. But so Gareth Bale, fan favorite, they loved him. He made his career there. He's available, so don't rule that as well.
Yeah,
but yeah, so I got them coming in at fifth.
This is where it gets interesting. I think we're along the same lines, but yeah, it gets a bit interesting here.
Fourth spot, I've got Manchester United.
Yep. Okay. So we both don't have. I'm guessing both don't have Arsenal in the top six.
Mate, you're gonna have to wait and see.
Okay, all right.
You're gonna have to wait and see.
Let's see.
Why are you rushing me? We got time. We just started, okay? You know what? I'm done. I'm out of here.
That's it. Hang on.
Nah. In terms of fourth, Man United. So
yeah, I can see that.
They've got enough talent there to work with to finish in the top four. I mean, that horrible season this year, they started off awful, and they still managed to finish third, which is actually
a team coming out of COVID though.
Yeah.
You kind of wanted to watch them play. They were really exciting. Kind of, three youngsters doing their work. With Bruno Fernandes has changed everything there. Their flow, their gameplay, their style. They've got someone that can also come a little bit deeper, pick up the ball like a Firmino, get their outlets going. It's a shame Pogba could never get going, but maybe with Van den Beek, Fernandes, and Pogba, I think you can see Everton strengthening that midfield, because at the end of the day, Man City and Liverpool, if you beat them there, that's where you can beat them, essentially. And you can see teams strengthening midfields more than even defences.
Yeah, no, that's true. I think the whole point with United is the barometer for them has been Paul Pogba, and whether or not he feels like he can be bothered playing and actually showing up and trying week in, week out. Now,
kind of like the Balotelli mentality.
Yeah, but I think that might change. I mean, if he sees all these other guys around him actually caring, playing really well, then that might put more pressure on him to think, geez, I better lift my game here.
Yeah. The only thing I would say is they don't have a leader in the changing room.
Yeah.
They don't have a Ferdinand. They don't have a Vidic like they used to. They don't have those. And I think that's where Man City dropped a lot last year. Yeah, they had, David Silva and Aguero, people that have won before, but they didn't have that company figure. You don't have that, whereas I think Liverpool are always good because of James Milner, as I like to call him, everybody calls him.
Yeah.
Jordan Henderson, even if he's not playing, but at the same time, Liverpool pissed me off, even though I love him. But there's little things like that Man United just don't have.
Yeah.
Matic never gets used, and he was a fantastic player for Chelsea, came across to United. He still can be a dangerous threat at the CDM position.
Finished off real strong the end of last season as well.
Yeah. Yep.
But I think what you said, that's spot on in terms of that leadership, that captaincy. I mean, their captain got arrested in Mykonos.
We just don't like any Harry Maguires.
I mean, look, that's not what you'd expect. I mean, look at Roy Keane. Did you see what Roy Keane said after that about him? Oh,
So
he went off his
he
head
went ruthless on
about
him.
him.
He's
Yeah,
always got something to say. I love that guy.
yeah,
As much as I
yeah.
hate United, gotta love Roy Keane. What did he say? Or he just ripped into him?
He just ripped him. He just ripped him. But in terms of the youngsters, I think Martial, Rashford, hopefully, this will be the year they kind of take that next step. I think they both kind of burst onto the scene. We're waiting, showed glimpses here and there, but we'll see. Either way, fourth spot, Champions
Awesome.
League. They'll probably be content with that, I reckon.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Coming in at number 3, I have my beloved Chelsea's, the
Chelsea. I think third
Chelsea
and
FC.
fourth could possibly be reversed.
Could, yeah,
Only
could,
because of how many signings Chelsea have done and Lampard's not fully proven yet. So yeah.
yeah. I mean, great signings. Don't get me wrong, huge
Ooh, yeah.
signings,
Big players,
huge.
man. Big
Only,
Bundesliga players.
only
A
problem.
36-year-old Thiago Silva.
hmm you got 5 players that are looking to start in a squad,
Yeah.
so that's going to take a fair bit of time to incorporate, considering
Yeah.
they've only had 3 weeks as well
But
between.
Chelsea and City are those type of people. Sorry to cut you off there. They're those type of clubs where they have multiple positions of star quality players,
Mm,
which I get. But at the same time, you've still got Mount, Pulisic, and you bring in Ziyech and Havertz, who play similar to one another, cutting type of players from wings and sort of cam positions and can play in the centre mid. You still got Jorginho, you still got Kante, you've still got is Kovic still there or did he leave?
no,
I'm
he's
not
still
sure.
there, Kovacic.
Kovic's still there. You brought in
This,
Chilwell, who's a proven left back for Leicester.
yeah.
I'm surprised Leicester even let him go.
Mm.
But yeah.
They did have to pay overs for him though as well. But
Yeah.
the main reason, again, on top of all those signings, they're great players, and the good thing about what they did last season was they got the youngsters a fair few games as well. So
Yeah.
at least when they're
Gave him
called
a run
upon,
to.
yeah. But again, the reason why I have them third compared to the other teams I have above them, they don't have that depth. They don't have the depth that
Yeah.
the top 2 teams I reckon would have, or even a team that's gonna mount a tilt for the title. I mean, I love them, but it's not going to be the year.
Fair enough. Well, okay. I know. I was watching a few things on YouTube. Some people have gotten a bit excited, think they're going to win it, but I don't know.
I mean,
Anything's possible. If Leicester can win a title, then
exactly right. I mean,
yeah.
obviously it's a chance, but it's a long shot, especially if they get injuries to key players. They're going to struggle.
Yep.
But going into the top 2 now. Now, also, I reckon there's going to be a bit of a gap between these top 2 and then third, fourth, and the rest.
You reckon? Okay.
Yeah, I reckon
I'm
there's
the
going to be a bit of
opposite
a
of
gap.
that. I think it's going to be a
Tighter.
lot closer. I think it's
All
going to
right.
be. I don't see Liverpool or City going above 90 points this year.
You reckon?
I think they'll be high 80s, maybe reach 90s, but I think both of them will have 2 to 4 losses between them because of those other 3 or 4 teams that can upset them.
Yeah, maybe.
If they draw their games, okay, they'll be different, but I can see both City and Liverpool dropping games consecutively too.
Kind of spoiled my top 2 announcement there, but second place though, I got Man City.
No!
Man City.
No
Yeah,
way.
I mean, it pains me to say this. I'd
Yeah.
hate it if Liverpool win the title again, but Man City to finish second. I just think they're gonna. They seem a little bit torn in terms of what they're playing for. I mean, obviously their focus is winning both. I mean, every trophy possible, but they haven't won the Champions League. Pep wants to win the Champions League. He's probably
Yeah.
got a bit more pressure to win the Champions League having won the Premier League. So
Yeah.
I think that indecisiveness to prioritise certain games, especially come Jan, Feb, around the
Yeah.
business end of the Champions League, may cost them a few games around the Premier League. So now they do have depth. The only thing is if they're playing week in, week out, they've got a different squad, which is what you're going to have to manage when you're playing that many games. I don't know if they're going to be able to cope with that. So that's why I got them second.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a pretty even top six.
Yeah.
I will say I'm obviously going to back my club to come first. Who'd you pick first, by the way?
Arsenal. Nah. Nah, I got Liverpool.
Fair enough.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
look, we've got a similar top six. I changed one of my things around, but not much. I've got Liverpool winning the title only if they sign Thiago. We need more depth. Liverpool, for me, the team, they're like, fantastic, we won it, but are we still hungry? That's what I want to know. Do they still have that hunger? Man City got slapped last year. Slapped. And then they lost to Lyon. Slapped.
Yeah.
The whole year slapped. Fair enough. They win the Banter Cup every year. Good on them. Whatever. I mean, we lost the other Banter Cup to Arsenal. But at the same time, I think when you have the signings, look, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But the Arsenal game, I hated. We dropped form towards the end of the year because we knew we were going to win the league. Just little things like that were annoying me, not just as a Liverpool supporter, but if I was a coach. Like when I used to coach, when you knew you were going to win games, you just lost that hunger. It kind of was like Lakers versus Houston today in the final quarter. I don't know. Lakers just wanted them to come back because they got bored. So when I see certain plays that they have, which I do like the youngsters, don't get me wrong, but I think they need a bit more experience there because as soon as Henderson goes, I don't know why the team level drops a little bit. The way we play, I think we're so ball dominant that we're okay with 1-0 wins now, which is okay. That's fine. Look, it won us the Premier League by 18 points last year.
Yeah.
But I want to know if we have that hunger again. I would like to see us make a deeper run in the Champions League. Hence why I would not get rid of Wijnaldum and keep Thiago in rather than getting rid of one of them. Man City second, and this is where I was saying I think it's going to be very close. I think there might be a couple of games in it, maybe a game. I think it will come down to the final day again. And the reason for that is because the third and fourth team are the ones that are going to make a difference. I've got Man United in third, and I changed it from Chelsea to Man United. Reason being, United have only added a player where, yes, they probably need to strengthen one more piece in the back. But just the way they finished the season and how poor Chelsea kind of was, I kind of, I kind of trust that Solskjaer's had a little bit more time with his players rather than Lampard, and I see a cohesive group of young players that really want to play, and a lot of English internationals, right? In saying that, Chelsea, it's the typical buy anyone, are they going to mesh? And that's why I think they'll finish in fourth place with Tottenham coming pretty close there in fifth, and then Everton in sixth. So, we both don't have Arsenal in the top seven.
That's completely fair points. I think that's going to be the biggest thing, to see how they handle the Premiership hangover, so to speak. Yeah. I mean, especially considering, and again, it was understandable that they fell off after they won the title. I get it. But there's not much of a gap. There's not much of a gap between these seasons. What was it, 3 weeks? And judging by what we saw in the Community Shield, Community Shield is not a big deal, but, I don't
know. We picked it up towards the end, but there's no goal scorer. And I think I mentioned this and was speaking the other day. I sometimes feel like Liverpool, pick up all these players, whatever, but I think sometimes if you're playing those Sheffields, those Burnleys, the Wolves, you play certain teams, even the big teams, I think we need a tall, 6'4", 6'5", Giroud type of headering player where his role is just 10 minutes a game to get that clinch, to get that header in, especially if you have fullbacks so high up the pitch and you're swinging in crosses. Mane and Salah like to cut in.
Yeah.
And Firmino kind of stagnant a bit. So if anything's going to work, especially on the Liverpool front, to come back in all competitions, Origi's not going to always be able to do it against 6'4", 6'5" defenders. You need that attacker that's kind of like that, and you bring him along for those games. The games when you don't need him, who cares?
Yeah.
He knows his role, but he's a threat in the air, and that's what he's there for.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that we kind of both have that top six quite similar, apart from Chelsea and United around.
I completely get your Liverpool points. I think for me, obviously scoring's an issue, but I don't see scoring as much of an issue for Liverpool, just purely on the fact, just from the talent alone. That front three, I reckon they can score at will. Now, for me, the area I'd be worried about with Liverpool, again, it's linked with the Premiership hangover, if they're going to have that same desperation in terms of defensively. Now, they were huge defensively. They won a lot of games 1-0 where they just won. Now, who knows if they don't have that hunger, if, Robertson or Alexander-Arnold just doesn't quite run as hard as they did last season, all of a sudden that's 1-1. I think they'll score their goals. I don't know if they're going to defend as well.
Yeah, we've seen some Costa F's. Typical, and Van Dijk against Arsenal towards the end of the year. Just some mishaps, and then that against Arsenal in the Community Shield.
Yeah.
I mean, we just couldn't finish our dinner, as to say. Well, we got our top four, got our top six essentially. Moving on to the relegation battle. Dan, I have a team in there who I believe, you know how we're talking about doing the numbnut of the round, usually in a recap. This team I hate with all my guts. I think they're the biggest, phoniest club I've ever seen, ever in sports.
What?
They are phonies. They are the worst team I've ever. They're just a joke. I have to start off here. I need to get it off my chest. West Ham are going to get relegated. I can't stand that club. I can't stand that team. I despise them. And I'll tell you why. They're the biggest joke to football. They go build a stadium and whatever. They leave their other bubble stadium, right? They come out with bubbles and stuff. And that's the problem. They all come out thinking it's going to be a bath. It's not. This is the Premier League, right? We don't need bubbles. It's not WWE. We don't have Stone Cold coming out throwing beer at everybody. We don't need your bubbles, all right? We don't need this kid shit. This is real life stuff. They annoy me. I think they're the biggest, phoniest club. And that's not a disrespect to its people. It's just what it is. I just think they're a waste of time. They need to be relegated. They've been this close up. They're always teasing. They've just got a little bit of the tip in, right, in the bottom three for too many years. And I think it's time they just need to go. And then I've got Brighton, and then I've got Fulham. I think, obviously, Leeds and West Brom will stay up. I think West Brom will have I think they'll be instant amongst that. Villa and Crystal Palace kind of to finish that bottom six. But West Ham need to go. Remember buy low, go low.
The supermarket,
The supermarket. That's them. They're just the scrappers, man. And they... this year I actually thought it was going to be a good year for them. I had them in the top 10. They bought Felipe Anderson. They had Mala. They had some they had some really good players, but it just never works. There's just something not right there.
First things first. How dare you? How dare you speak in such a manner about a team that Katy Perry supports?
Sorry.
How could you?
Gorgeous, but doesn't matter. They're rubbish.
Mate, they got some fair few celebrities that support them, but anyway, that's kind of beside the point. But I don't think they're anywhere near as bad as what you say, to be honest. I mean,
I think they're horrible.
Granted, they have underachieved, but I don't think any team deserves the ill will that you've spoken about. My God. All right, hey. If it makes you happy, I'll put them in the relegation.
There you go.
If it makes you happy, I will. But
We need to start like a Kickstarter. I need a petition to get them out of the Premier League. They're a joke. Absolute joke.
they're not that bad. I mean, they got a new stadium. They're in debt, God knows how many millions now
Yeah,
because of it. But look, I don't have West Ham in the relegation battle, as you so kindly put it. For me, I agree with Fulham. I think they're going to struggle, big time, unfortunately, because they used to be pretty decent when they were in the Premier League around about 10 to 15 years ago. Like they were mid-table, kind of leaning towards the top half. Yeah, yeah, they're actually
Europa League, I believe, many
yeah,
years ago.
yeah. But again, it's a long time ago. I think they'll struggle. I put Southampton. Um,
Really?
they struggled to survive the back end of last season as well.
Wasn't
So
Danny?
they finished 5 points outside relegation, Southampton.
Yeah.
And now they've talk about a team that's kind of gotten away with bad form. That's definitely a team there because I mean normally Southampton they you'd expect them to be mid-table. They do all right. I mean look at the players that have come out of there that have gone to other clubs.
Yeah.
So they usually recruit pretty well as well.
But they do have
Um,
clubs that are pretty. Yeah.
they do, but it's just not coming together for them. So I think they were kind of a little bit lucky to survive last season.
They
Might be a
actually
bit of
did well last season. Actually, sorry to cut you off. They actually finished 11th. They finished 15 points out. No, 20
Southampton.
points. 18 points out of the relegation zone. Yeah.
Well,
West Ham finished 5 points out of the relegation zone.
that's right. I,
No, sorry, 1 point. Yeah, 5 points out of the relegation zone and Villa out of 1 point. But they did start off extremely poor. Southampton, remember, got thumped 9-0 against Leicester. And then after that, they turned it on. Well, Danny Ings turned it on at least.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. I think they're going
yeah,
to be
no,
the
a lot of
surprise
people have
packet.
said Southampton are they're going to go down. They're just not good enough.
Yeah.
You've got Southampton, you've got Fulham.
Southampton, Fulham, and I'd pick Brighton.
Yeah, Brighton, I can't believe they've hung on.
Yeah.
I know some people have picked Sheffield, but I think because they've lost Henderson, which I can understand, I think they're going to have that second-year syndrome and they're going to be further down
Exactly.
the table,
Yeah.
to be honest. I think both the relegation battle, just like this year, is going to be quite interesting.
Yeah.
It could be anyone, to be honest. For all I know, Liverpool could go 0-3 in the first, 3 games, which probably won't happen. They've won 6 of their last 7 opening games of the season and under Klopp. So I don't see that happening. But in saying that, yeah, it's going to be quite interesting. The top 4 is going to be interesting also.
Yeah. I mean, with the relegation battle, we didn't include some of the teams that got promoted in it, which we're obviously expecting them to kind
I
of.
don't see West Brom or Leeds. The reason being, I think teams that were so poor last year and Fulham, I just don't. A few years ago, I got excited when they got Mitrovic and they got Schürrle and they got Siri, I think it is, or Seri from played for, I think, Nice from the French league, who's a good player.
Yeah.
They had Sessegnon, I think his name was, or Sessegnon, I think it might be mistaken there. They had some pretty good players. They spent like £100 million coming into the Premier League and got demoted straight away.
Yeah.
They might not do that again. They might park the bus for a whole year. I don't know. But you saw how good Norwich played last year and got demoted. And they actually had a really good system. They had a fun attacking. I mean, Pookie started off well and then finished whatever happened. But they played it. Even I think Klopp said it. Like the way that for a relegation team to play the ball so well and run rings around certain teams, I think they drew or beat Man City one game, and they went down. So I don't see a Fulham staying on top. Brighton, whatever about them. Yeah, no, I like their stadium in FIFA. That's about it. Um, yeah, they're on their way out, and obviously, yeah, I think the Hammers. I've never really liked West Ham. Uh,
Well, with the
but yeah,
teams that get promoted coming into the Premier League, they're cashed up and they want to spend. They're
yeah.
looking to spend. They're looking to
Well,
stay
look at
up. So
Leeds. Leeds
yeah,
getting Rodrigo and a few other players, which we'll get into in a minute.
yeah,
Where we're going to preview now the games coming up. Just a
yeah.
quick
Let's do it.
preview who you got, and then we'll finish off with moment of the round.
Yeah,
Um, so first game, Cottage Park, Fulham, Arsenal. This was actually a few years ago where Good Evening was
good evening.
coaching for Arsenal. And they played a really good game against Fulham. And that was one of the most entertaining games I actually watched for the whole year. But Fulham obviously newly promoted.
Mhm.
Obviously Arsenal in great form, winning the FA Cup, winning the Community Shield. So to be honest, I think they're going to come in with some swag and possibly. But you don't never know with Arsenal. They could get thumped right now with Fulham. They could. I'm going for a draw
All right.
against the Fulham Arsenal game only because you just never know with Arsenal.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, they did beat Liverpool,
yeah.
um,
Give us a
but they
score.
got pretty tight. I think it's going to be 2-2.
2-2. High
Yeah,
scoring.
I don't think they'll be able to stop Mitrovic up top for them. Arsenal, big
Hmm.
header in body, can get in around the box. Um, I just don't see that happening for Arsenal. They just can't defend for their lives when there's a big player in there. I don't think. But I think 2-2 is. I see that happening. To be honest, Fulham have actually lost the last 5 games against the Gunners. I think this is where the tide's going to turn
Yeah.
and they're going to draw.
All
Possibly
right.
the only point they get for the whole year. Who we got next, Dan?
Well, in terms of the Fulham Arsenal game, my prediction,
Yep.
I'd probably have
Did I say who we got next? I meant to say who you got.
yeah. Who I
Yeah.
got?
Sorry, yeah.
Nah. In terms of that game, I'd say draw as well. If anything, I'd probably be leaning a little bit closer to Fulham.
No way. We just
Yeah,
put him in the relegation battle, but when he comes to Arsenal, it's like, yeah, they'll probably win that game.
I mean the reason why is because with Arsenal for
Banter
one,
FC.
this is exactly kind of the game that you'd expect them to win.
Yeah. And they
As a
just don't.
result, you'd expect them to lose
Yeah.
because whatever you know whatever Arsenal should do, they'll do the exact opposite. So that's pretty much the reason why. Now they're probably on cloud nine after winning the Community Shield, the plate that no one really cares about whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I think they're probably going to be a little bit carried away with that, and they could be vulnerable. I I don't think they're going to be that promising. And Fulham, first game of the round, this is where kind of the teams that get relegated could get some points here and there before they kind of really fall away.
Yeah.
I think this could be one of those games. So again, I still think draw. I still think 1-1.
Yeah,
Um,
fair enough. Yeah, I was gonna go 1-1, but I think Arsenal under Arteta have that. Yeah, but I don't think they're at the back. They're going to be able to. It's a small pitch also, and I think when you've got playing long balls to big centre forwards, I think they'll struggle a little bit. But yeah,
David Luiz as well. Sideshow Bob in defence.
yeah,
I mean,
but yeah, who knows? Who
that's
knows what he's going to be? So who knows? Yeah, Sideshow Bob. No. Who we got next? Who we got next?
we've got Palace versus Southampton.
Could be a
Next.
relegation battle off the
Well, will
bat.
be, especially what I was thinking in terms of Southampton.
Yeah.
What I can see here is Palace have only won 3 of their last 22 games against Southampton, which
Yeah.
is a pretty impressive record for two teams that are kind of considered on
Yeah.
or thereabouts as well. So I think with this one again, I don't know. I don't see Southampton doing too well. And again, this is going to be played at Palace as well.
Yeah.
I see Palace winning this one 1-0.
1-0 Palace. Okay, yeah. I actually have Southampton winning this game, depending
Okay.
if Zaha's going to play or not.
Okay.
Who knows if he's on his way out? Heard that. I mean, when this comes out, Koulibaly could be at Man City. Like Thiago could be at Liverpool. And Zaha could be at Tottenham for all we know. So, um, yeah, I think Danny Ings is key, and it just depends if Zaha's playing or not. I'm going for a 1-0 win for Southampton.
Southampton. All right. All right. All right. What do we have next?
Well, next, we've got the champions versus the newly promoted Leeds United. I know, Daniel, you are most. Is this your match of the round? Because this is exciting news, especially for people out there that don't know. Mark Viduka, Harry Kewell, good old Aussie boys, best Australian players ever. Used to play for Leeds. 16 years. They've got a great coach, great system. They just brought in Rodrigo. A few other players they've been spending. This is going to be. I think this is going to be an entertaining game. I see 6 goals in this.
6.
I see 6 goals in this. Yeah.
All right. All right.
I see. One, Liverpool need to win because they've just dropped form, so they're probably going to come out pretty pissed.
Mm.
Not only that, I think Leeds will get a rude awakening, but so will Liverpool, and realise that they can't do what they. That's why I think it'll be 6 goals in it. Also, Liverpool have been unbeaten in their last 8 meetings against Leeds. Fair enough, in the last 8 meetings, they've been in lower tiers. But I think Liverpool win this 4-2.
Okay. Now, there are fewer things that I care about than this game. Okay, this game is life at the moment. Now, if you told me, would you rather have the ability to go back outside and have the freedom to, not spend more than 1 hour outside, I would pick stay inside and watch this game instead. Okay, this is the game. This is what I'm looking forward to most at the moment. Okay, this is what I'm after. I got Leeds winning.
I wouldn't be surprised, to be
I
honest.
got Leeds winning 1-0, 1-0, and that one goal they score will be a penalty. So it's going to be a penalty. It's going to be 1-0.
That we don't know. Like, what's going on here? What are you people telling you?
No, just look. Again, with that front three, I don't see any issue with Liverpool scoring, but I think they might be a little bit spooked. First game of the season.
That's why I said they could spoil. I said both ways can be spoiled. Both teams can get a rude awakening.
They're the champions coming up against newly promoted. We're going to see the mindset of Liverpool, okay? So if they're taking this season really seriously, they're going to come out and probably smack Leeds like most people would expect them to. But I don't know. They are a good team, but newly promoted, coming up against the champions, I mean, it's a pretty tough task. So
put it this way, if there was a crowd at Anfield, I would be like, there's no chance for Leeds. No chance. Opening day, we're league champions, the crowd back, never walk alone.
Yeah.
60,000 people go, off their fucking mental. Leeds, I reckon, would have got done 6-0, actually probably 4-0 on opening day, and everyone would be like, oh my God, we thought Leeds. But because it's not, I don't see. If Liverpool play the way they did against Crystal Palace towards the end of the year at their home and against Chelsea, I don't see Leeds being able to keep up with players to that level, but I don't see them not being on that level. The difference is that they played a very well-rounded system in the league below. You're coming into a team, like, are they going to sit behind the ball and allow pressure, or are they going to play that system that their coach enjoys, which is a fantastic system? So if they play their system, I think Liverpool, Klopp and Liverpool might have a few challenges. Hence why I've gone 4-2.
Fair enough. But I think for me, The deciding factor, I mean, there's no doubt Liverpool have got more talent. I mean, that's obvious. The deciding factor for me in this game is the
Mentality.
mentality. Yeah, yeah.
I can
So
understand that.
Leeds, first game back in the Premier League, huge. Their players will G up,
Yeah, it's like
even
a
if there's
grand
no
final for
crowds.
them, man.
Yeah. Whereas Liverpool, they just come off winning the Premier League, no crowds. This is almost going to feel like a preseason game, or they might
Yeah,
take that mentality, which could cost
yeah.
them.
Fair enough. Good point. All right, Daniel, who we got? Who we got next? Who we got next?
We've got. I don't even want to say this to you now. I don't feel comfortable saying it, but
Say it.
we've
Say it.
got we got West Ham, Katy
Right.
Perry
Fox FC.
FC versus
I think
Newcastle.
they should be called, Phonies FC versus the other phony FC team. Newcastle's made some pretty good signings, to be honest. So,
They have, they have. What do you reckon?
Newcastle 2-1.
Newcastle.
Newcastle 2-1. Newcastle's won 9 away games at West Ham. So, and the third point I made in that joint point is I don't like West Ham. So, I mean, that's a stat in itself. Yeah, I think 2-1 Newcastle. And Newcastle have made 5-6 signings. I'll go through what West Ham have done. They signed Sujuk, or Sushik, his name, Thomas Sushik, who's actually a really, really good player from Slavia Prague for 16.5 million. He's a good player, but they've got a few players coming back, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with those players. In saying that, they haven't made any other signings. They've got 6 or 7 players that have left. And yes, they've brought some players back in with end of loan spells and stuff like that. But anyway, we don't really need to talk about this game much. So, whatever.
Hey, all right. I disagree, to be honest. Now this is probably going to get me axed off this podcast for suggesting this, but I've actually got the Hammers, West Ham, winning this game 1-0.
I've liked West Ham, but they annoy me because
They
it's like you're a waste of air. Can I get that air back? You know who they are? They're the type of club. It's people like the people that rush to the aisles for toilet paper during COVID. That's West Ham for me.
Hey, so what you're saying? That's a team that you respect, yeah? That's a team that that gets in early.
Yeah, gets in early, but doesn't finish off strong. Just a waste of space.
Hey, they must finish off strong if they need all that toilet paper. But anyway, with this game, I got West Ham winning 1-0. Now that you're right, West Ham have underachieved considering the squad that they have had. In terms of like Felipe Anderson, especially, I think he's actually a really good player. Also,
for someone like him, though, for a Brazilian who's really good on the ball, fast, gets in.
Exactly right. Now, considering this again, crowds don't really matter, but in terms of home ground advantage of the venue that it's played at, that's pretty much the main reason.
Good thing, actually, to be honest, for West Ham, no one's going to be there. So they don't have the pressure.
Yeah, there you go. But that's pretty much the main reason. Yeah.
Fair point.
Yeah.
Alrighty. What we got next? We got West Brom versus Leicester City. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Brendan Rodgers struggles against West Brom sometimes. I know Liverpool had some weird outings against them.
Yeah. He does struggle against them, and they were absolutely abysmal after we took that COVID-19 break.
Yeah.
When it restarted.
I actually thought they were going to push for second, man.
Yeah.
Just the way that they were playing, and they just typical Rodgers though. He just can't finish off, man. Yeah, just can't finish his dinner. I don't know what happens. I don't know if he's, you can't keep saying, oh yeah, he's a good mentality. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. Can't. I think he might be good with his training and his tactics, but I think his ability to keep people motivated long enough and that mental fatigue, like we were talking about with Liverpool.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I don't know what happened towards the end of the year. Maybe they just got found out too easy, like they did a few years ago, and people just parked it on them and they didn't have enough talent to get around parking the bus teams. But yeah.
I think it's a good point you make. I mean, comparing Brendan Rodgers, that season where they kind of finished agonisingly close to winning the title, where they basically had it in their grasp, and then they choked the last few games away, and then they were never able to recapture that the following season. Like they didn't really get close.
Smacked in the last game of the season against Stoke 6-1.
Yeah.
And he got fired the following year against it.
I see similarities. Yeah, I see similarities with that now. Leicester were probably one of the biggest disappointments, at the end of last season. I mean, they were top four for probably most 3/4 of the whole season.
Yeah.
And they blew it all the way in the last 6 or 7 games. So I think because of that, and again, not much time has passed between their last game and now this game. So, and they haven't really made any moves to suggest, they're going to take this seriously, actual finish top 4. I think they're the case where we'll take it as it comes. If we win, awesome. If we finish near the top, awesome. But if we don't, oh well, we tried. I think that's the kind of club that they are at the moment. Whereas they should be striving for higher. I mean, they've
got the potential and they've got the good players. You know what I mean? Like, to be honest, I know this is going to sound quite weird, but they've got similar player structure like Chelsea do. You know what I mean? Like fast players, good players on the ball, the Vardys, the Madison and stuff like that, the Greys. Decent sort of midfield with Tillman, Ndidi, and a few others. They got Ricardo, right back. He's probably arguably, before he got injured, he was arguably the best Premier League best right back in the league, probably just ahead of or just behind Trent Alexander-Arnold and Wan Bissaka. And then you had probably the second or even one of the best left backs in the league in Chilwell on the left back. So now you get rid of that. Who do you bring in to sort of take over that? Do you switch the system up so you can? Not only that, both teams, believe it or not, have actually lost 6 opening games. So they're not the 2 teams you want. Maybe one of. I see a 1-1 draw here.
Flip a coin.
Take your pick. Viewers, I'll take my. I'm saying it's a 1-1 draw. It could even be 0-0. I don't see this game being all that exciting. But what about you, Dan?
I see it being a draw. I see it being flat and a dull affair. I see 0-0. Again, just one other thing with Leicester as well. Vardy is a year older. Now he's quick. He relies on pace. That's also could potentially start to slow down. Madison just re-signed another pretty big money contract as well. So will he be as hungry to play the season now that he's no longer paying for a contract? The money, they got £50 million for Chilwell, Ben Chilwell, the left back.
You get some good left backs and players.
Where's that money gone?
50 million,
Exactly. Who they got? No one yet. So
fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Who we got next? Big Dan?
This actually should be a pretty interesting game.
This is my match of the round, to be honest.
Yeah, we've got the Spuds, the Spurs, versus the Evertonians.
Yeah, this is my match of the round by far. I think this is going to be the most exciting game apart from the Liverpool Leeds game.
Yeah.
But this is going to be quite an interesting affair. Both teams who we've got in 5th and 6th.
Yeah.
Both teams who we think are quite
capable
of. To be honest, if the other teams don't perform, these are the 2 teams that I think. I think Everton will be possibly that Leicester like last year.
Yeah.
But I think they just won't be able to hold it for long enough.
Mm-hmm.
I see a 2-1 win for Spurs though.
Okay. All right. I don't blame you for saying this is the match of the round. I mean, It's good. It's no Leeds versus Liverpool, but I see the allure. Um, it's, it's hard to say. I think purely based on the fact that it's going to be at Tottenham, I'd say Tottenham to win as well. I'd say 2-0.
Okay,
Just
you don't think
because
Everton will get on the scorecard?
I don't think so. Not, I mean, they just signed James Rodriguez. For one, we don't know if he's going to play. It's going to take him a while to fit into the system. I understand he has played under Ancelotti, but
Yeah,
at the same
England's a bit
time,
different.
yeah, England's a little bit different. It could take a little bit of time for him to get adjusted, especially around Jose Mourinho coach teams, which are
Yeah,
generally very physical, um, as well, and also defensive. So it's going to be hard for Everton to break them down.
yeah.
I think Spurs are going to be switched on to start the season. And then potentially around about Christmas, January, they could start to drop a few games where they shouldn't. But I think Spurs are going to start the season pretty
Do
well.
you, in your opinion, do you think these teams will be swapped around come December? Like
I,
Everton will pick up towards Christmas, where Spurs might drop off towards Christmas,
I
like
think
after
so.
it.
I think so. I think with, again, because they're very similar, I think with Everton as well, they're going to get better. They're going to gel more.
Mm.
Um, Carlo Ancelotti is a brilliant tactician. Like,
Yeah, he is
yeah, and I think he's gonna work a
bit
lot
of
of
a
teams down.
masterclass against Liverpool with Napoli. So yeah,
Exactly. So I think it's going to take a bit of time, but they're going to come good. They're gonna cost a lot of the teams above them when they
yeah,
play them. I
heartbreak,
think,
Ben.
yeah, I think those teams are going to drop points against Everton, but they'll probably start off slow to begin with. So I've got Tottenham 2-0.
I think Spurs. It all depends on Harry Kane.
Yeah,
They've got such a good team. Like if you're a type of person that jumps on FIFA and you want a team to play, apart from using Leeds in the upcoming FIFA 21, which is not a sponsored ad, but Spurs, you just like Kane, Son, Lucas, Bergwijn, Ali, like it's such a
they're a fun
good
team.
team. And
They're a fun team.
Dembele, it's disappointing. And Dembele's not really getting. I don't know. I think Mourinho sees a Makelele in him, so I think he's been really hard on him, and he's just trying to make him harder because he might be a bit soft
Yeah.
mentally. But look, Spurs are unbeaten against the Toffees in the last um, few encounters. Everton have only won 3 out of their last 28 matches away at Spurs, drawn 8 and lost 17.
Yeah.
That there is not, a stat you want essentially with you. That's pretty bad. But yeah, so I guess we both got Spurs winning this one. 2-1. I think Everton will score 2-0 for Daniel. Next game, Sheffield versus Wolves. I see Wolves. Wolves have not beaten Sheffield in their last 13 games.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and Sheffield have only lost 2 games. Sorry, lost 2 games out of 13 games against them. Sheffield, obviously, we talked about before dropping form. They were one of the other ones who dropped hard. We thought they were going to make a push. Everybody thought they were going to make a push. We're all rooting for them to make a push for Champions League football or Europa League football. But the problem is that their best player, Henderson, is back at Man United, who's their goalkeeper. So I see Wolves winning this 2-0 comfortably.
Okay. No, that's fair enough. I mean, I'd agree. I'd say Wolves to win this game as well. I understand the form is fairly one-sided as well,
Yeah.
but first game of a new season, a season that's not really like any other. There could be surprises, but I don't think this is going to be one of them. I have Wolves winning this one as well. Pretty exciting team to watch as well, Wolves.
Yeah.
I'd probably expect a mid-table again, just because it's
I
pretty
think they'll
clogged
fight
up the
there.
top.
I think they've kind of been getting higher and higher. To be fair, you never know what happens. I mean, they lost Doherty to Spurs. Spurs side Doherty isn't strengthened their right back position over Aurier. Obviously, we already covered Spurs, but I don't see. I see a bit of a difference here in Wolves. It just depends on how they're structured. But they've been improving each season. They went higher. Obviously, they had the Europa League last year.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
2-1 Wolves for me.
2-1 Wolves. And don't forget, 2 Manchester teams aren't playing this weekend.
Postponed, yep.
Yep. And then got your boys in the final game. Brighton, Chelsea.
Lucky last one.
Yeah, probably the one game I don't think anyone really cares about. I think there's more exciting games.
Excuse me?
No, I'm joking. The game that no one cares about is West Ham versus Newcastle. This, for me personally, man, I hate to take the mic here, but this game, for some reason, I feel is more important to Chelsea than Brighton. It kind of feels like they need to get off to a good start to kind of prove the doubters, and they need to be able to go there and thump them. I have written in the notes saying that I would probably give Chelsea about 10 games. Some people, Daniel, if you believe this, are giving Chelsea 5 games before they make an opinion about it. I'm saying give it the first 10 games. When you in the first 10 games last year, Liverpool were going to win the league. So I'm going to give Chelsea 10 games to see what happens, similar to what Everton and Spurs are going to be like. I think those 3 teams are the ones that everybody's going to have to kind of be on their case and look about. I think they're going to be the most spoken team. But I will say this before we finish off today, and finish off what I say. I've backed Liverpool to win win the league, right? Because that's my team and that's what I want.
Yeah.
But don't be surprised if they finish 4th.
4th?
Yeah.
4th?
Because the only reason I say that is depending on their mentality after the first 5 games. I know we're supposed to be speaking about Brighton and Chelsea, but it just sprung me up just then, saying, wait a minute, it just depends on how they play. That's all. But yeah, I see give Chelsea 10 games. I think a lot of people are on their back, but also there's a lot of people going, oh, good signings, but they're not a serious team. But I think they're going to be very serious. But it's just because Frank Lampard's not essentially proven. He went from Derby to to Chelsea. So, and I think Chelsea had some really good players there. He did well last year, but I think it's kind of that 1 year sort of. It's like Brendan Rodgers. Like, whoa, you did well. Yeah. Then who knows what's going to happen? So, yeah.
I want to say thank you for finding a way to steal my team's thunder. We finally got a moment to speak about Chelsea, and you bring up Liverpool, and you make it all about them. Thank you for that.
You had it in the notes.
Oh, did we? Yeah.
I put it in my notes. Don't talk about Chelsea.
Look, I think out of Chelsea, Brighton, I reckon Liverpool will finish 4th. I think look, I think your reservations about Chelsea make complete sense. I'm just as skeptical about them, to be honest.
Skeptical. I was the one going, I like Chelsea. They're an exciting team. I was saying that all last year. As soon as I opened up FIFA career mode, remember when we went into COVID, I even jumped on the Chelsea bandwagon. I'm like, I'm going to start a career mode on this team. But I can see why some Chelsea supporters are so skeptical.
Me being one of them. So yeah. I was on the complete opposite end. I was pessimistic about Chelsea's chances last season. I expect them to finish mid-table, slightly to the bottom half. Yeah. Because they were banned for making any signings. Frank Lampard's first year, they were going to play the young players. Yeah. They did great. Much better than I expected.
They went into a cup final.
Yeah. I think, again, with this game, it's hard. We don't know. I don't think all of their 5 signings are going to play. Thiago Silva's probably going to need a bit more of a break. Yeah, he's 35. His season did end a little bit later than the others as well because of Champions League.
Yeah.
I think Timo Werner should play. Hopefully, Kai Havertz in his first few training sessions did really well as well. Okay. Chelsea should win this.
I think I like I said to start off with, this is more of a game for Chelsea than it is for Brighton. Because this is going to, just like you would say, where's that other, Fulham versus Arsenal. It kind of might dictate those upper echelon teams, how their year's going to be. I know you can't do it after one game, but I just think that Chelsea need to come out strong and thump Brighton.
Yeah.
Like actually thump them like 5-0 type of thump, 4-0, dominate possession, dominate the game. The only thing that will let them down is Brighton have bigger players in defence and up to the headers. That's the only part. You saw a few times Brighton last year against upper teams, sort of, against the Tottenhams and stuff like that, get a lot of goals from headers because of their big centre-backs. That's the only part where Chelsea might struggle, and obviously their goalkeeper,
I think,
Kepa. I don't know. It's one of those.
I think in terms of they didn't have the firepower up front last season to kind of finish those chances. They actually did play some pretty good attacking football last season. Like Pulisic was really, really good. Hopefully he'll be even better this season. I think the biggest issue with Chelsea.
Fit it all in?
The biggest issue with Chelsea is the same issue that was with them last season, their defence. Now, they made two signings, Chilwell and Thiago Silva. Neither of them are probably going to play. Chilwell's definitely injured, so he's not going to play. So you've still got the back four of players from last season. So we're going to see if defensively those players have got better or tactically they're better. I think they'll concede against Brighton. I think it'll be 2-1. Chelsea will win, but I think they'll still concede because those issues that they were having.
I'm going for a 4-1.
Yeah, those issues were still there.
In retrospect, you're totally right. But in retrospect of what should happen is Chelsea need to come out big and strong.
Yeah.
But
Send a
I
message.
do see them conceding a goal.
If you want to be taken seriously in terms of the title race, send a message.
Yeah. Not through chat or DMs.
Nah.
Put the ball in the back of the net, cuz. Alrighty, so we've wrapped it up in our first episode together. Really enjoyed it. Not bad. Good size. 2 seconds in. We will be joining you most likely on the recap. Stay tuned for more content. If you haven't already, make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Would you like to finish off with anything, Daniel?
Nothing, mate. Just that it's been a pleasure being able to bounce these ideas off, and I look forward to Premier League starting. Hopefully, there'll be some accurate predictions. If not, then one of us or either of us are going to cop it.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, and I like that you're wearing a top about me, so that's good. All day I dream about Soddy. So, guys, thank you for listening in.
I'm going to burn this up now.
Weekend. Tune in next week for banter, and we love you all, okay?